All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're going on a journey through 5 really powerful stories of change, all happening right now in Southern California. We're talking about everything from community halls to classrooms to some pretty amazing healthcare breakthroughs. It's a real snapshot of people on the ground taking action. So, here's what we've got on tap. We're going to start in Bakersfield with a powerful call for change, then see how students are actually learning about health through play. After that, we'll look at how maternal care is getting a major upgrade, celebrate a city's food scene in Hawthorne, and then wrap up with a totally revolutionary new way to pay for life-saving medicine. So, for our first story, we're heading to Bakersfield. The 30th annual Martin Luther King Jr. Community Breakfast happened there. And let me tell you, it wasn't just about looking back, it was a really strong push for direct action right here and right now. And this was really the heart of the whole thing. The keynote speaker, Stephen Bloomberg, basically threw down a challenge. He said, look, just remembering Dr. King isn't enough. When we see injustice and do nothing, that's not being neutral, that's a choice. He was really pushing everyone to get past just remembering and start doing. There were about 400 people there, and the message really boiled down to these key ideas. The main thing was challenging the systems that have just gotten too comfortable. It's about embracing what Dr. King called creative tension, forcing a community to finally face an issue it's been ignoring. It's a call to action saying, hey, it's on us to make the change happen. All right, let's stick with Bakersfield for our next story because it shows how one group is tackling a pretty serious health issue in, well, a brilliantly creative way. Okay, just look at this number for a second. 52%. That's the percentage of California's failing public water systems that are in communities of color. I mean, that's staggering. And it gives you some serious context for why teaching kids about staying hydrated and kidney health has become so incredibly urgent, especially in these areas. So here's the million-dollar question, right? How in the world do you get middle schoolers to care about urinary tract health? Well, the Bakersfield chapter of the Links Incorporated figured it out. And it wasn't with a boring lecture, I can tell you that. It was with a super high-energy event that got kids up and moving. They literally turned health class into an amazing race. I love this. Students were sprinting between different stations. They used balloons to actually feel the idea of bladder pressure. And they were competing in games that taught them the real risks of not drinking enough water. It was all about learning by doing. And you want to know if it actually worked? Just listen to this quote from Michaela, an 8th grader. She gets it. She didn't just hear a bunch of facts. She walked away with real, practical knowledge that could literally change her daily habits and keep her healthy for the long run. That's impact. Okay, for third story, we're shifting gears to a big systemic change. It's all about tackling these long-standing problems in maternal health by creating brand new support systems for families in Kern County. So, the big change here is in the system itself. Before, care was all over the place, fragmented, hard to navigate. But now, Medi-Cal is moving to this coordinated birthing care pathway. It's designed to support parents from that very first prenatal visit all the way through their baby's first birthday. The goal is to make sure nobody falls through the cracks. And a really huge piece of this new system is that Medi-Cal now covers doula services. Doulas provide all this amazing non-medical support, physical, emotional, you name it. And the research is clear. Having a doula is linked to way better birth outcomes. And that's especially true for Black families, who unfortunately face the greatest risks. All right, story number 4. And let's talk about something we can all get behind: food. We're heading over to Hawthorne, the city of good neighbors, to see how they're using food to fire up some community pride and give a boost to local businesses. So get ready, foodies, because Hawthorne is about to put its amazing and diverse food scene right in the spotlight with its very first restaurant week. The goal here is pretty simple. Bring in a bunch of new customers, let the local chefs really show off what they can do, and just create some lasting buzz for all the great places to eat in the city. And this isn't just wishful thinking. This is a totally proven idea. I mean, look at this. Similar events in nearby Long Beach and Pasadena saw restaurant sales jump by 20 to 30%. So Hawthorne is hoping to do the exact same thing and really put their own culinary map on the radar. And now for our final story. We're shifting from local events to a national policy that could have a massive impact on local communities. And folks, this one is a true game changer. It's about tackling the mind-blowing cost of life-saving therapies with a totally new way of paying for them. This quote from Serenity Cole, who's just 18, It really just stops you in your tracks. It captures the daily, grinding reality for the 100,000 Americans, mostly Black Americans, who live with sickle cell disease. It's a disease of constant, awful pain that can shorten a person's life by more than 20 years. But now, for the first time ever, there's a potential cure, a gene therapy. So what's the catch? The price tag. It can be as high as 3.1 times $1 million for one patient. That cost makes this cure seem completely impossible, especially when you consider that about half of all sickle cell patients are covered by Medicaid. So, what's the solution? Well, the federal government has negotiated something revolutionary, a pay-for-results model. Think about it. In the traditional system, drug companies get paid no matter what. With this new model, they only get the big bucks if these super expensive therapies actually work. If a treatment fails, the state gets a rebate. This is a seismic shift, tying payment directly to patient success. And get this isn't just some tiny experiment. A majority of states, plus DC and Puerto Rico, have already signed on. That shows you there's huge, widespread interest in a model that makes these incredible cures actually accessible for patients and, accountable for taxpayers. Why does this matter so much? Well, the implications are just enormous. This doesn't just open the door for patients to get cures and protect public money. It basically creates a blueprint for how it might pay for all the next-generation medical breakthroughs. And most importantly, it offers real, tangible hope for patients like Serenity. So when you pull back and connect the dots between all 5 of these stories, this really powerful theme just pops out. You have a community breakfast demanding action, a health fair teaching kids, and a federal policy making cures affordable. They're all about moving from just talking about problems to getting tangible results that build healthier and stronger communities. And that kind of leaves us with one final thought. These stories are happening in Southern California, but this kind of change is happening everywhere. So the question to think about is, what actions, big and small, are making a real difference right where you live?